whenever you're persecuted and you stay the course, God will open doors for you. We're going to talk about some of the exciting things that are happening for you guys right now. We need to pray for you, pray for your son, your daughter, pray for everybody involved, your ex-husband. You know, I mean, this whole thing is so terrible, what's happening, and them taking your son because you criticize the government. I mean, they've really opened themselves up to civil rights lawsuits. I want to say something about Williamson County and other rural counties that butt up to big cities like Austin. And we're now a big city, over 1 million people. 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, it was mainly cow pastured, some good old boys. And believe me, my family's been down here in this area of Texas for a long time. The corruption up there was known back then. You get good old boys in charge. They own the jail. Their family gets the contracts. And it's come out with, past mayor and police chiefs up in Georgetown with just stuff you will just blow your mind what they're doing. And I predict Williamson County will end up going down in history as one of the most corrupt counties, because as it gets bigger and hundreds of thousands of people move in there and they feed on all these new people from California and stuff moving in who have no idea, as they keep running this boss hog situation with hundreds of thousands of people under them, they're going to be brought to justice. And more they are being brought to justice. But Williamson County leadership is a cancer in this country. But similar things are going on. They've had all these CNN specials about where the police just admit in small towns in Texas, they just pull you over and take your money. You were taught how to do that. You were taught to plant drugs. Talking about your father, who thinks you're bad because you're for marijuana legalization. Have you explained to him you were trained to plant drugs? I mean, does he think when you talk to him that that's morally okay? Or does he just deny that's happening?
Unfortunately, like a lot of the older Christians in this land, their ears are stopped. My father won't even look at the evidence. He won't even talk to me about it. He's a military man, and they taught him a certain way, and by God, that's not going to change. And unfortunately, that's the attitude a lot of.
But doesn't he know why we're having Obamacare and open borders and tyranny? It's because we are run by crooks. These mainline good Christian people need to stop living in denial.
Well, they're responsible for all the needless lives being locked up right now. They've made laws against morals. The Christians decided if they couldn't behave that way and everybody else was having fun, dancing and drinking and doing drugs.
And the CIA narcotics traffickers in the 30s, even before the CIA was set up, they lobbied to have all this done because they'd lost alcohol prohibition.
Well, I actually got kilos of crack cocaine off the street that came directly from the CIA when I was a narcotics officer. And I was told at the time that that's what it was, and I didn't believe it because I was brainwashed too. And later in years, when those documents began to be revealed, I realized I was seizing cocaine that was put here by our own government and putting nonviolent people in jail for that. And I feel really bad about that. That's why I switched sides and produced these videos that teach how not to get busted for pot. And then we started doing Cop Busters, and that's Cop Busters with a K.
You got a lot of courage, because I told you a year ago when you were in there, I said, buddy, get ready. They're coming down on you with both feet.
You did, Alex, and
they did,
and they did, and we
and they will. I mean, I'm just telling you that they will try to kill you next. I mean, you know that.
Yes,
this is big business. You're not going to cut into that.
Yes. You know, we've gotten. Did I already talk about the death threats and everything?
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Well, I want to get Bob Chapman's final comments and then shift into other areas, and we'll monitor this as it unfolds. But people should go to your site. They should watch the videos, research it for themselves. And we should also pray for the evil hearts of police that think of us as non-humans. I mean, I've had police over and over again try to frame me for violence. I have the national media doing it right now. I've showed a clip earlier where the military is trying to frame my camera guys as terrorists.
Oh, you're definitely on the radar. I'm surprised you haven't been raided. I'm not sure how you've kept that.
Well, they understand that we have extremely clean noses here. And I've sued government before and others. And so they realize that we're a big target. And so, but I'm sure it unfortunately is in the works, and I've been told. But see, I'm not, my dad always explained to me, he said, and then years after I kind of saw a similar thing at the end of Carlito's Way. It's not the high level gangsters that kill Carlito. It's the low level thugs. My dad, when I first started getting into this, he said, listen, I've studied a lot of history. He said, you can go after Bill Clinton, you can go after big, powerful politicians, you can do that. He said that when you go after boss hogs, they will kill you. Because boss hogs you can beat. The big bankers pretty much don't care. It's these boss hogs that are dangerous.
Well, see, I thought the opposite. We thought we were safe just setting stings up for local police because that's what the local people need.
No, that's the most dangerous.
We realize that now.
I mean, and
Lost us our son.
I mean, if you're a cop trying to investigate Oklahoma City being an inside job, and they killed a bunch of cops up in Oklahoma, tortured them to death. I mean, they don't play games. I mean, this is a $500 million a year industry of narcotics trafficking. And as long as the mainline Christians are asleep and sucking their thumbs, the scam can continue.
Well, fortunately, you know, Hollywood's caught on, and we signed a movie deal with.
Yeah, tell folks the positive news. You got an NPR special, HBO, TV. Tell folks.
Yeah, we signed a deal not too long ago with Brett Ratner, the Hollywood giant who did Prison Break and X-Men and Rush Hours. And they want to do a movie in the theaters about our lives. And April 8th or 9th?
April 9th.
NPR story will air
This
about
American Life.
It's called This American.
That's one of their biggest shows.
Yeah.
Right.
About 4 million.
Yeah, that'll help.
But we were just as excited to be on your show, Alex.
Yeah.
Thanks for reaching out to us, because we are just a single family. We're not a big organization. We don't even have any full-time employees. We've done all of this as just activists as a family on our own.
Well, that's the key. We need more people to do what you've done until there's too many patriots standing up for them to stop us.
Exactly.
And that's one reason they haven't come after me physically yet. Well, they beat me up once, and I get threats and threats on my family. I mean, a lot of stuff's happened. Is because we're an idea, and ideas are bulletproof, and we have got millions of people to take action, and they know if they kill me, it will just make everything I've done that much more evergreen.
Exactly. Well, still be careful out there, because they got Martin Luther King. And
well, I don't think I'm to that level. So,
well, you know, he did some great things for his time, and I'm so thankful. He's one of my heroes. But this is 2010, and you've certainly carried it to another level.
Well, guys, give the website out again.
NeverGetBusted.com. Please go there and help us out. We've got a donate button there for our legal fees. And
I asked you about the Texas Rangers, and they won't investigate this.
Texas Rangers announced they won't investigate the Liberty Hill sting, which is not a surprise to me, because I have a private clip on YouTube ready to roll where I actually filmed a phone conversation between me and them where they said this: "We'll just come to Austin and kick your ass." And I've got that on film. They did that over the Yolanda Madden case where we stung the cops in Odessa on a false raid that resulted in Yolanda being released from prison after being there for 4 years. She's out of prison now.
Barry, do you remember me telling you to make copies of all your stuff? They didn't seize everything you had, did they? All your videos?
Pretty close, but we've got some backup.
Well, you've now got to put that Texas Ranger clip out.
And I actually didn't keep our videos on site. We always kept them somewhere else, but I had them in the house because that HBO film crew needed them.
Yeah.
And I forgot to return them back to their hiding spots.
Well, there's no doubt they were listening to your phones.
Possibly.
They're listening right now. What do you want to say to them?
Well, I want to tell them how cruel and evil they are, that this is cruelty like no other. When you start touching people's families, and I know you're not right, stop it, because we're not going to stop exposing corruption. And how dare you come into my home on a misdemeanor pointing guns at my family? If you were civilians and did that, you would have been charged with home invasion, burglary, theft, because you took all of our stuff, and you did all that for a misdemeanor that I didn't even commit. And that's why we've got a $40 million lawsuit coming in your direction, and we're going to get our son back. I'll die. I'm nonviolent, but I will do everything in my power legally to get our son back. So, Zach, we're coming to get you, babe. Right, Candy?
And by saying you'll die, you're ready for him to kill you. You're ready to go all the way.
Well,
I'll use a real Texas Ranger quote from their founder. A man in the wrong can't stand up against a man who's in the right and keeps on coming.
Thank you.
Guys, good having you in.
Hey, Alex, appreciate it.
God bless you.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
All right, guys, we'll continue to watch this case with Barry and Candy Cooper. Pray for him, folks. Okay, going back to Bob Chapman. Bob, thank you for holding during that. I'm going to give you the floor now on the economy, the police state, all the big developments. But putting end caps on that, Bob Chapman, what's your take on what you just heard?
I want every American out there who heard this program to start doing the same thing in their communities with these people who are in law enforcement who are breaking the law. And that includes judges and politicians, all of whom feed from the same sewer. And it's been going on for a long time. It's a minority, usually, of people within law enforcement. Most people in law enforcement try to do the right thing. But, you know, they have the code. You got to protect each other.
Well, Whitehurst said it 2 days ago, former head of the FBI crime lab. He said they're good at the bottom, but the sewage is at the top.
Well, it's the same thing in any organization. And, to have people in law enforcement involved in narcotics, which affect generally, mostly children, is dreadful. And, we see these things going on all over the country. And I think what happens to a lot of these men, especially those who are in higher positions and had been in law enforcement for a number of years, they just get hardened to everything, and they are dealing with criminals for years.